Hello everybody, this is Simon with Let's Play Mega Man Quintum. After a valiant defeat of Neptune, it is time for another water-based boss. For some reason, I also don't know why Venus is male, but I digress. His weapon is the bubble bomb, making every Mega Man. He's your Venus, he's your water. Wait. The stage. Venus' stage is, in my opinion, not one of the better ones, but it illustrates very well why I sometimes dislike this game. First of all, we're going to show off Salt Water though, which is also not the best weapon, to be quite honest. As you could see, it destroys these guys in 2 shots, and if you bounce the shots off, then yes, it will indeed destroy them quicker. Though it is incredibly hard to use in a fashion like this. You really have to plan exactly where to put it and when to hit the enemies more than once with it. It is decent enough, like Crystal Eye was, to deliver a little extra damage in comparison to the Buster, because the Buster, of course, if you rapid fire it, it doesn't deal as much damage as a weapon which deals 2 Buster shots worth of damage. But on the other hand, it's already gone, which is bad, really bad for a weapon which has only real utility if you rapid fire it. So, these crabs here, the first one I took out without incident, which is good because it is a nice introduction to them, are also kind of annoying because they just take a long while to kill. Generally, this stage exemplifies what I mean when I say that Quintum is a very slow game at points and forces you to wait a lot. Most of the time, this is okay because it gives you something to do while you wait, but here it is sometimes really egregious. These guys here are very obvious in their gimmick. If you shoot them a lot, then you get a lot of trouble with them. Though for this reason we do have Tango, and as said, I promised I would find a use for him. And it is decent enough to take out these enemies, but it also showcases how relatively bad his AI can get. Not a big problem, of course, because it's very optional, but On the other hand, high health enemies like this one get taken out really easily, so this and one other design feature we're going to see later on is a very good explanation for why the enemies sometimes take as long to kill. Tango would also be really good against the crabs, for example, though I do not really want to take him out for every single obstacle here. Another small E-can, and indeed there are 4 in this level, so we can get a full E-tank, very nice of them. You book it here, you don't have to deal with this guy. See here? The waiting is justified, because you would have to deal with this guy while the waterfall is falling down, making it okay, because you're not just standing around stupidly. It's not always the case, however, as said, and this makes it just kind of boring at some points. By now the stage assumes that you do know how to deal with the crabs, which is perfectly fair, even though you really have to be on your toes here, but it's not really as in Tertium, for example, where it was just extremely dickish. You still have plenty of time to react, and it really shows how far more balanced the difficulty is. These things here are kind of hard to figure out on your first try. You will always bounce higher when you jump on one of the big bubbles, but you will not when you jump on one of the small bubbles. It is pretty consistent in their hitboxes, but it's not exactly intuitive, so I died a lot until I found this out when I first played the game. This crab here is just incredibly annoying because it blocks shots with its bubbles, and the bubbles will vanish, prompting it to shoot a new one every time it falls down here. I try to get creative a little, but it just doesn't really work because, as said, Salt Water is just not good in the slightest. It has its few uses, I guess, but overall I'm already out again. You see, it's just then I get hit because of it. And overall it's just incredibly clunky to use. It is moderately fun to try and figure out a use for it, but it would really need a lot more damage to be even close to, well, good and or usable, I'd say. Just showing off, I got the full E-tank back there with the menu, because this was the 4th E-can. This is also one of these situations where if you can take your time a little, then you know how to deal with it, and otherwise it might get a little hairy. You really have to be careful here to not jump instead of slide, and you really want to slow down and jump carefully, because you cannot control your jumps after you jump once on the bubbles, which is just, as said, not really intuitive, and it can really fuck you over in the beginning. This section here is rather nice, though you should again not hurry because the waterfall actively pushes you down. Yes, of course you will die from it, so not nice again at all. And I also dislike how the bubbles can sometimes suck you into the crab, but that's just not that big of a deal. However, this was like, what, the 6th crab by now, and they take a really long time to kill. So on repeats, this level can get kind of tedious, and this is what irks me probably the most in Quintum. Other than that, it was really well designed, it had nice ideas and gimmicks and all that. Don't get me wrong, it's just something that can get a lot on your nerves when you have to re-record it as often as I do, because I keep for some reason fucking up on one of the easiest road masters ever made, namely Venus. But yeah, personal reasons, you know. So what Venus does is basically shoot out these bubbles, which are of course incredibly threatening, and slowly walk sideways at you because he's a crab, I guess. And well, the homing ones you have to take out by shooting them, the other ones just stand around and don't do much. I've read that if you take him down to half health, then he will start shooting out bubbles up to 3 at a time, which would be really threatening if he didn't die so quickly. Though I do think that the fight is balanced enough, and as you saw, I am terrible at fighting Venus, but I still got by fine. It is really not hard, and this definitely a good stage to start. As you could see, Saltwater didn't really get much use in this stage, and Tango himself is really good in dealing with things. Again, a very nice demonstration of the weapon. I really like that they did this, and I'm very confused that it took until Mega Man and Base for them to really have a useful demonstration of weapons again. And even the Rush Coil, which is all sorts of nice of them, wouldn't you say? Still don't have enough to get a new goodie, so for now I'm going to leave you, and we're going to see you next time for Mars. Thank you very much for your attention.